Hey everyone, welcome to my February weekly bullet journal pages. For these spreads, I'll be using my Valentine's Day sticker sheets that I've been featuring in my last few videos. I needed to print and cut a few more of these for inventory, and every time I haven't used my printer in a while, it decides to spit out black ink on the first few sheets, so I had quite a few oopsie sheets here that I decided to use in my weekly pages. I'm starting off with some faux calligraphy here so that I can color in the inside of the letters with some colored pencils and create a gradient effect. I did this type of lettering last month as well, so I figured it would tie the monthly and weekly pages together nicely. Next, I'm creating the 7-day boxes, and I thought this would be a good layout so that I could use some of my larger stickers next to each box. Sometimes I think using this ruler with its rounded edges will make my boxes look neater, but oftentimes I just end up making the lines look messy and wonder if I'd be better off just freehanding it. I'm using my Woomer colored pencils again that I've recently fallen in love with. And you can see how sharp of a point I was able to get with these colored pencils with my new pencil sharpener here. This pencil sharpener was recommended to me by my mom, and honestly, I didn't realize that pencil sharpeners varied that much from one to another. But I really like this one because you're actually not supposed to hold onto the colored pencil as you sharpen it, and it creates a really sharp point. With some handheld pencil sharpeners, it can be really easy to break your lead or your point if you're holding onto the pencil at an angle while sharpening it. So this one kind of eliminates that from happening. And I know I featured this coloring process in my last video, but I decided to carry on filling in the letters with a pink and dark pink gradient because it's really satisfying to create. If you didn't see my monthly plan with me video that goes along with this theme, I'll link that above and in the description for you to watch later if you'd like. So to start, I color the light pink across all of the letters fairly lightly. And then I come in with the darker pink at the bottom and then gradually press down harder as I lay down each color again to blend them together. It's really fun, and I found that having a nice sharp pencil really helps lay the color down nicely. In the past, I didn't really think having sharpened colored pencils was important, even though I've heard many people recommend it, but I've really grown to see how useful it is and how it makes a big difference from using a dull point. And I'll link the pencil sharpener I mentioned earlier in the description below in case you're interested in checking it out. If you didn't know, I do like to link all of the products I use in each video as well as the colors I use. I found so many useful art products from other creators doing this, and so I like to do the same. I've written in the days of the week using some Pentel brush sign pens that I used to use so frequently in my videos, but I haven't in a while now. And then I'll be using a couple of my favorite Tombow colors to color in some of the lines on each day box to break up the white space a little bit. The very top box for Thursday is actually a little bit smaller than the other 6 boxes. It's always a bit of a struggle to decide whether to make one box shorter than the others or mess with my page margins when I don't have enough grid dots to perfectly balance everything. So I figured I would place the smaller box at the top next to the February title since it's a little less obvious there. I've added a light gray drop shadow around the boxes and letters to also add a little bit more visual interest to what are going to be some very simple weekly pages. I created a Draw With Me video last month to try out some watercolor pencils for the first time, and it put me a little bit behind on creating these weekly pages. Originally, I was going to test those watercolor pencils in my bullet journal for these weekly pages, but then I realized how important having watercolor paper is, especially when learning how to use that medium. So since I had already agreed to test the watercolor pencils within the month that I had received them, I opted for a Draw With Me video instead. Then my friend Amy surprised me by secretly buying a couple of different sticker sheets that I offer in my store, and she made the cutest Valentine's Day and movie theme for her February pages. It's super creative. I'll definitely link that below for you as well. It was a huge honor to see her create her pages using my stickers, and I just adore how they all turned out. Then I remembered how far behind I was on my own weekly pages and realized that I too could actually use my own stickers to create my weekly pages, and do them a bit faster than if I drew everything myself like I usually do. It's funny how long that idea took to register in my mind. I don't know why I always try to overcomplicate everything. So I've placed most of my larger stickers next to each day box and then used some of the smaller stickers to fill in the rest of the space. I recently got these Papermate mechanical pencils with colored lead, and I'm really loving sketching with them. But I also thought they'd be useful to fill in some of the empty spaces around my stickers. I might have gone a little bit overboard with sparkles and dots and hearts, but at the same time, is it really possible to have too many sparkles in our life? I'm not entirely sure how I feel about how these pages turned out, but I will say that they cut my planning and creating time in half, and so they were a great option for getting my weekly pages done in time before February started. In fact, I got them done on the very last day of January. Because I had used a majority of my stickers once already, I decided to combine 2 weeks together for the next set of pages so that I wouldn't keep repeating using all of my stickers over and over again for 4 weeks. Creating a 2 week spread was also another great way to speed up my weekly planning process. I'm starting with a simple mini calendar at the top of the page here, and then drawing candy hearts vertically on this page for each day of the week. I really enjoy these Pentel pens for creating colored outlines. And then I'm using my dark gray Pigma fineliner to draw the frame around these day boxes. I thought about using another color for the outline, but I figure I tend to go overboard on colors so frequently anyhow, so I just kept it simple with the dark gray. I've been trying out so many different art products recently, which has been really fun, but also a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So I was really excited to get back to using these Tombow markers that I'm so much more familiar with. They're so satisfying to color with, and although their somewhat streaky nature used to bother me, they've actually become my favorite medium to color with. Although if Ohuhu actually comes out with a bleed-proof bullet journal like they've said they're working on, then using alcohol markers may become my preferred coloring method. Only time will tell. I'm not sure if that's public knowledge yet, but I had bought their sketchbook that claimed to have bleed-proof pages, and I tested my alcohol markers on it, and I was absolutely shocked that there was no bleed-through at all. If you're not familiar with using alcohol markers, they pretty much bleed through any kind of paper, even really thick papers or cardstock. So after picking my jaw up off the floor, I reached out to them to suggest making a bullet journal with that paper, since I know there are so many of us who would absolutely love to use alcohol markers in our bullet journals. And I was so excited when they told me that the concept is actually in development right now. So I'm really curious and excited to see what will come of that, and you can bet I'll be one of the first people in line to test out that journal as soon as I can get my hands on it. So I've just been placing all of my stickers around the outside of the day boxes and trying to stagger them in a way that looks cute. I don't have much experience in decorating pages with stickers, and I imagine like anything, it'll take some practice to figure out what looks good. I think stickers are deceptively easy looking, but really, creating pretty pages with them is quite a skillful art. I like to create my sticker sheets with a variety of different sizes, so that came in handy here for adding a few of the smaller stickers onto the day boxes themselves. I'm not sure at what point a page has too many stickers, but like with using sparkles and color, I often don't know when to stop. And these teeny tiny hearts are actually some of my favorite stickers on the sheet, even though they're so simple. Then I'm using my pink mechanical pencil, colored pencil. I don't know what to call this, but I'm adding in some more sparkles with it around the stickers. I originally finished up the pages just like this, but then I was doing the final flip through and I decided they looked a bit too bare. So I'm coming back in with my blue marker and adding a few more circles and dots for a bit more color contrast here. And just like that, these pages are all wrapped up, and here is the final look at them. For my final weekly pages, I am using a layout that I've really grown to love when ending one month and moving to the next. I've used this layout a couple of times before, and I just enjoy having the mini calendar for the month that is ending as well as for the month that is coming up, all on one set of pages. I'm carrying on with the same pattern of writing faux calligraphy for the months and then coloring them in with the pink and dark pink color gradient. While I'm doing that, I thought it would be a good time for a little life update. My kitten Bean is doing wonderful and he'll be turning 6 months old tomorrow. His all-gray coat is somewhat turning brown on his shoulders, so it'll be interesting to see if he keeps changing colors. I've really grown to enjoy him being a gray kitty since that's the name and color of my main character I draw so often, but I love him so much that it really doesn't matter what color he turns into. I just think it's interesting to see his coat changing. I didn't know that could happen. In other news, I'm on a 36-day streak of drawing every single day since the new year started, which is something I never thought I could do before. And I'm currently trying to work into my schedule a week every other month or so to solely focus on creating new sticker sheets. I know I've been talking about this for a while now, but I haven't produced any results yet. But it's very important for me to do this year. And since it's such a time-consuming process to create them, it seems silly to try to cram so much work into just a day or two here and there like I've been trying to plan for, and obviously not following through on. So the current plan is to create my March monthly and weekly plan with me videos next, and then after that I'll dedicate a week to creating the March bullet journal theme into sticker sheets. Then I also need to create a template for how I want my more functional bullet journal stickers to look, and those will be an optional add-on for each decorative sticker sheet. Altogether, there will most likely be 4 sticker sheets, both decorative and functional, that can be used to create bullet journal pages, all designed around one theme. Hopefully I'm explaining that well enough. Anyways, the template for the functional stickers is something I've needed to create for quite a while now, and I think not having a template really prevents me from even getting started at all. The sticker packs will take anywhere from 20 to 30 hours each to complete, based off my experience with creating decorative sticker sheets in the past. And so I think being able to dedicate a solid week to those at a time will be really helpful. And then whenever I can set a week aside, hopefully at least every other month, then I can do a couple of themes each time and not be distracted with video editing or any of the other things that usually take up so much of my time. So I apologize to those of you who have been patiently waiting for new sticker sheets to be released, but it has definitely been heavy on my mind and I think I finally found a solution, so I'm really excited to finally get started on those towards the end of the month. Since I had already used a majority of my larger stickers on the previous pages, I decided to create this really simple heart pattern along both sides of the weekly boxes. I'm using 2 shades of pink to color in all of the hearts and giving them a little shadow for some dimension. I've drawn some little blue sparkles and details in between them, and I'm coloring the inside of them light blue to match. I'm adding in some highlights and then just repeating the process on the other side here. I like simple patterns like this because they add a lot of cuteness to the page but don't require too much brain power. And sometimes it's just nice to not have to think so hard. I am absolutely perplexed by how quickly January flew by, and how, despite putting in solid effort every day, I still feel like there's so much left to do. but someone recently reminded me that we are exactly where we need to be right now, in our art journey and in life in general. And sometimes it's just hearing those simple reminders that really helps me to calm down a little. It also reminds me of my theme for the year, which centers around timing and is inspired by Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. I wrote that in my yearly bullet journal setup and then promptly forgot to live it out. My gel pen was fighting with me, as it so often does, so I switched over to my fine-tipped Posca paint marker and put 2 layers down to create a white highlight on all of these objects. Since I had a few larger stickers left from the 2 sheets I had been using, I placed them on the day boxes and added a few smaller stickers along the lines dividing the days of the week. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoy this type of video, where I create quick and simple layouts using stickers. I definitely plan to make more as I design additional sticker sheets in the future. This was a fun change of pace and really nice since I was in a bit of a time crunch. It's always great to have plenty of different options for weekly pages, depending on how much time you have available to create. And now it's time for the final flip through. I really enjoyed the simplicity of being able to use these stickers for my weekly layouts, and I'm happy to have created these just in time to use for February. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.